Hey guys, good evening. Hello, how are you, Swapnil? Are you feeling better? Hey Samira, hi Crazy Jack, how are you? Hello, Miss. Hello, Samantha. Hey, Wonders Explorer, how are you? Punjabi Suresh, ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਚਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ? Hope all of you guys are doing well. So today, uh, I told Shilpa that I will. Yeah, I know. I was just answering that. You guys must be wondering where Shilpa. So I requested Shilpa if I could conduct this interview, and she happily obliged. She said, "चल ठीक है मेरा 8 से 9 मैं अब खाना बनाऊंगी और राइड पे जाऊंगी." She should be joining in soon as a hello, ma'am. How are you, lady in pink jacket? But we hardly get to see you in pink jacket while you're riding. Okay. Waiting for Samira to send in a request. Oh yeah, you can knock on Shilpa's door and carry a plate full of dinner with her. Hi, crazy Deep. Okay, I think we are waiting for Samira to send in the request for joining in the show. All good. You can call me Abhishek here. There's no sir here. सफेदी सफेदी है बस बालों में बाकी दिल तो जवान है अभी भी. Hello 99 Cannons Club. Thank you for joining in. I'll try Samira. Let me just do this. Hey Kalpana. Yes, yes, surprise. I was just telling the viewers here that I requested Shilpa for allowing me. Hey, we've got a guest online. Hi Samira. Hi Praveen.
Hi,
Good to finally meet you guys online.
can't hear you.
Audible now?
Just can we try this one more time because I can't hear you?
Am I audible now, Samira? Okay, she just ran away from the show. Hi, Shilpa. See, I was telling people that you're making food and going on a ride after this lovely session. We're just waiting for Samira to join in. कुछ लोग आ रहे तेरे घर पे शिल्पा to get food. Hey Samira.
Hello.
Hi, hi Praveen, hi Samira.
Hi.
Finally get to see you guys after 24 days of riding. Of
Yeah.
no social media. That was something, huh? To stay away from social media for all those 24 days. Oh, only her, huh?
Yeah.
Great, great,
I'm
great.
hot in social media.
So I took the chance from Shilpa today to actually
Yeah, I
request
know.
her to allow me to take this session. Yeah, so it's
We're
an
so
honor to
glad.
have you guys.
Yeah, we are glad too that you are taking our session because last time we had a session with Shilpa Di,
Correct, correct,
and that was my own session, and then later Praveen joined it because
correct,
he was
correct.
always been a very support system to me.
So great. So let's straight deep dive into the set of questions. But first, before we get into the questions, just one quick point of how you guys are feeling after that 24 days on the road and now back at home. What's the feeling like?
Okay, honestly, we are not home. We are in Goa right now.
Ah, the further parting. Huh? So are
Yeah.
you guys
So
riding? Are you guys riding there, Praveen, or driving? Okay. So you packed
I had
your
a back pain after
motorcycles,
driving
gave
for
them
8 hours.
rest, and now you're riding.
No, I had a back pain after driving for 8 hours. 24 days, I had no back pain.
Oh,
Surprisingly.
great, great. So quickly, Samira and Praveen, if you could just quickly tell us about yourself, like in a nutshell. We know we have heard you. We follow Samira. Praveen not so much on the social media though, but yeah, Samira does a lot of
Yeah.
yoga and she's lost a lot of weight. And was it planned for this ride? The losing of weight?
Uh, yeah, I think Abhishek, it was pretty much in sync. I would say that I've been doing yoga from the age of 7, but I didn't know at the age of 7 that I'm gonna do something like this at the age of 33. Uh, but I think this 2020 has been an amazing year for both of us because we decided to utilize this low end of this year into the high end of for us. So we have been like constantly seeing a lot of people talking about that 2020 has been a waste. It's been a waste from the March when the lockdown started, and I think March was the starting point when we actually took this thought of doing all India together. And in the month of June, when we started working on ourselves, then we decided to do fastest. What do you say?
Yeah,
Middle
so
of.
Praveen, that's my next question, right? So, this year was lockdown and then a lot of restrictions on the road. While now it's all opened up, but you still want to be careful, right? On the road in different states, you don't know what will happen in terms of where do you get stuck, right? When you're doing interstate rides. How did you actually end up planning this ride, and why did you plan this ride? Why did you choose the bike that you chose? And how did the thought of fastest Indians, or rather
Abhishek,
couple
you asked
Indians?
all your questions in one question.
No, this is just pertaining to one. So it's all
Okay.
about why did you plan and how did you get going on that, Praveen?
I've always loved speed, so trying to do anything fastest, I think, is something that we always want to achieve. I personally, from a very long time, just if you can do any endurance that is fastest, nothing like it. So that was in plans, I think, for at least a decade. But thinking about something and doing it is something different. So thanks to Samira, we attempted it in the first place, but the plan was always there. And why did we do it during COVID? Yes, fingers crossed. I think what we did is reach out to connects across the 28 states we have. Yeah. Figuring out, okay, if it's open, what are the norms? What do we get to? So starting from Goa, Mumbai, as we started a journey. So each and every state we called up, we asked people. I think the toughest was the Northeast, and I think Kerala. We had locked on. So we called up friends, asked them what's the norm, what we can do we need tests in advance. So we did our homework pretty thoroughly. I think we spent 30 45 days doing detailed network about weather, about COVID, reading papers, reaching out to people, even officials if there's something's really required. So that was the pre-plan, the prep that we really did. The bikes we chose, I think 390 for that segment is an apt bike.
It's an apt bike.
Yeah,
Yes.
it has decent amount of power. The parts are covered by Bajaj, so your service center and parts are not very expensive.
Yeah.
And I think good mileage, good economy, pretty reliable in terms of if you have a decent bike, it's
Yeah.
okay. So basically, the aspects of the service support and the parts and the network that Bajaj had kind of helped. We did have other bikes in mind, but the speed and the power would not match. I think KTM has an edge there, so that worked in our favor.
Can you can hear us?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I would just like to add a little bit because we are in a space right now where there is a live music happening at back to us. So I'm just trying to be a bit more louder. As you asked this question about why COVID, honestly, we had this thought of attempting something like this in our mind from 2019 November onwards, because in 2019 we did a 15 days of trip in Sikkim, and
Right.
that was a quite endurance one for both of us. And there was a point where I really impressed this man who had an experience of 25 years, and
24.
24, sorry, 24 years, and he was quite impressed with the kind of focus and dedication I had to be a partner and riding like a riding partner. So honestly, when we ride, we don't ride as a couple, we ride as individual riders together, and we always try to match our wavelength, because that was one of a very important point for us to be on a ride like that. So when COVID happened, that was actually a very positive thing for us because we could really work on ourselves. And record rides are a very different segment in motorcycling. And many riders in our community are not very much aware of it. So they think that when somebody is attempting a record ride, they are not doing any prep, they are not thinking about it, they're just picking up the bike and going. So for us, it was a challenge itself. We kept COVID at one point aside because we knew that we're gonna make contacts, we're gonna call people, and we're gonna check what is the situation in their state. So even though when we started, there's something called a night curfew already started in certain states. But our attention of a ride was that we were not staying in a place for longer time. We were crossing the state capitals and we were moving ahead to another state. So, and the state which we were very much sure that we're going to stay back, we had already those places in our mind, and we already checked with the places that whether we could stay or not. And we also got our COVID test done before we started the ride. So it was pretty smooth, and honestly, it wasn't been a challenge for us to cross and do whole India in this time. It was kind of worked in our favor because in terms of when we showed our documents to people, they were really understood our ride concept, and we didn't have any faced any difficulty in that context. So we were very clear that the norms of COVID was very clear and sorted. And in prior 6 months, we were too working on ourselves too hard that both of us lost 20 kgs before we hit the road. So considering the fact of what we're gonna eat, how our body gonna react, riding every day for 1,000 kilometers in mountains to 500 kilometers, and to be on road for 16 hours every day, how our body gonna react, we completely forget about COVID. Honestly.
No, that's very interesting that you said about the prep that you did, Praveen and
Yes.
Samira. And the next question that comes to my mind is how many pages did you actually end up filling with all the prep notes that you would have done for this ride? And did you review those during your ride? Typically you would then chart out a Google Map trip, but would you have carried those papers along with you to review where you stand against your planned itinerary?
So I think by the time we started the ride, the entire route map was by heart. So
Oh,
every state, which points you're going to stop, where you're going to, it was actually by heart. So if you pull out a state where we stopped, what we did was actually there. So we did a lot of prep work. Yes, I think it took us about 7 iterations of the map, of which places we do, what we do. And then finally we had to turn the entire map all around. We thought we'd start from Bangalore, head towards Kerala. But then the weather in Zojila Pass, because Ladakh was a new union territory that was added in 2019,
Yes.
we had to hit Ladakh as well.
Yeah.
And I think we planned stating that, thinking rather that, the winters hit only by Jan and you'll have, it would be open, but this year winter hit really early. First thing what I did is I preponed my leaves by a week and we chose the date of 28th. And our idea was to hit Zojila by 3rd, 2nd?
Third.
By 3rd of December.
Yeah.
And lucky us, 2 days before we reached there was a huge landslide.
Yes.
There was snow, vehicle were covered, and luckily those 2 days were open, and we hit Zojila in 2 days. So the entire trip changed from starting at hitting Kerala to Goa. So the entire route was reversed. And then when we reached certain points, we had to make last minute changes looking at
Yeah.
the time
Situations. Yeah.
situation and what we can do, where we can make up time if you've lost time. So yeah, we made a few changes en route as well and on the spot as well. I think there were locations where we stopped and we decided, okay, should we take this route or this route? That happened
right.
as well. Not too much, but I think 90% we stuck to the routes we managed. I would say 80 to 90%, and then there was about 10 or 20% deviation. The changes we had to make on the go.
So there were.
Finally, did you take the north, south, east, and west, or how did you actually end up doing it?
Bangalore, Goa, Mumbai, Silvassa, Daman, and then Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab. Then we hit
So western and then north. Yeah.
Yes. So we went to our whole idea initially was to go and do the south down first.
Right.
So we can cover maximum in the few coming initial days, because any rider who goes on a ride, they have a lot of energy in the initial 4-5 days.
Correct.
So we thought we want to capture a lot of kilometers in the initial days. But when we entered in November, that was the time when we, because as Praveen mentioned, that Ladakh added as a new union territory. So we had to hit Ladakh in any way.
Right.
So from November 1st, we started monitoring the weather conditions in Zojila Pass, because Manali route gets stopped in October onwards. So we had only one chance, which was only through Zojila Pass. So we started monitoring and we started contacting people. We got a lot of things like, why you are doing this? It's so dangerous. And we were like, okay, we know that it was dangerous, but we were somewhere sure that we could do it. And the day we got on 24th, we got a confirmation that the roads are open. And the day we reached Udhampur, which was our 2nd of December, that was the night when we really got a confirmation that the road is open only for 3 days.
Okay.
And if we could make it in 3 days, it's fine. Otherwise, the road will gonna block for another 2 weeks. So just because of the COVID situation, they actually opened the route for civilians as well, so they can commute
A lot of goods. So keeping that fact in mind.
So keeping that
Yeah.
fact in mind, we actually kept ourselves going. So the day one of our ride, we actually covered 1,300 kilometers in 22 hours of riding. So we could make it actually on the date of Zojila. And Zojila was one of the toughest leg of toughest route of our leg one. And we divided our whole, so we did 16,300 kilometers.
Yeah.
And we divided the whole kilometers into 4 legs. So our first leg was after finishing Zojila. So
Okay.
when we reached there, we got lot of appreciation. At the same time, we got lot of concern from the people over there and from the army people, who were so surprised, because we supposed to do the whole route in 2 days, but we did it in 1 day. Not even a 1 day, 8 hours. So they were
Yep.
very surprised seeing us coming down, and they were like, अरे आपको फिर से चाय पिलाना पड़ेगा. तो मैं कहा सर पिलाना तो पड़ेगा क्योंकि हमने ज़ोज़िला कर लिया है अब. So it was such a proud
Right.
moment for us that we could actually we made the changes because we do had our incidents. You know, when we are on road, we cannot predict that how the road condition, the weather condition, the mental and physical condition gonna give up. And we had incidents where we literally lost almost 1.5 days on our total days, and we still able to made up to 24 days.
I would say Zozila was very
Nice.
challenging. You know, you don't have any local bikers or bikers hitting Zozila during winter.
Yes.
So I think during the entire winter, they had only 3 or 4 bikers. Two of them we saw who passed. One we heard about, and one we met.
Yes.
So I think the entire month of November and December, they just had 4 bikers. And localites, they don't bother going on bikes. They
Right.
say it's pointless. Unless it's a need, is a necessary, they go. Otherwise, nobody goes to Zozila in winter.
So we did like 140 kilometers of black ice, and
Wow.
our bike tires were not supporting that. Only the technique which we follow, thanks to this person, that he always follow the technique on point. So it was told to me very clearly that you are not going to be, someone superwoman over there. You have to go slow. You have to come down slow. And we have to, the whole thing in our mind is to complete that leg in a successful manner, and that happened. So
So
our
how did you guys tackle black ice, and how much time duration did you actually take over there?
Yeah, no using the brake, especially front brakes, forget it that exists, you know.
Right.
no,
So it's like, we did what did we do? Dirt park at Big Rock.
Yeah.
We did the slide school. So there, your bikes don't have front brakes. I told her, just imagine it's the same stuff, no front brake. Just forget
Right.
it. So yeah, it was slow and steady. I think I went up to third and fourth gear, but I told her to be in the second and third, and try to slow down gradually, and maybe try to tap your back brake, and it can be dicey again, because there are times when I accidentally, subconsciously, muscle memory, she tapped the front brake, and you just have to just touch your front brake and
Yeah.
you lose immediately.
Correct.
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
while going, it was easy because I think what they do is they open it between 9 and 10 o'clock. All the cars usually go, and at 1:30 the trucks go. So by the time we reached Cargill and we tried to come back, it was only 2:30 in the afternoon. And the roads are just that narrow that only a truck will fit. In certain places, even the bikes should not fit.
Yeah.
So how the itinerary works is one day the vehicles go up, one day vehicles come down. We
Right.
begged and pleaded. They let us go back on the same day because it's a record ride. But it was crazy. So by the time we're going back, the road is covered in slush.
Slush.
It's all ice, right? And below that, it's frozen black ice. So
Right.
there are a couple of places where I didn't realize I'm going through water and I'm not able to even keep my foot. My shoes not gripping. It's that bad. Yeah, I think it's slow and steady.
Yes.
Trying to use the right technique, use
Yes.
the back brake, use the gears, go as slow as possible. If you think you're going downhill where there's slope, ensure there's nothing coming in front of you. Somebody goes ahead, waits,
Yeah.
and you come down really slow. Otherwise, there are places where there's nothing. You just go down the valley.
Yeah, it's as
Yeah,
simple
it's
that
very
we have
difficult.
to forget about our muscle memory of applying the front brake and rear brake completely, and
Correct.
also the muscle memory of not dragging our foot, because we
Okay.
will in a place like black ice, you will never get a grip. So I
Correct.
had a standing falls where my foot got stuck inside the slush and snow, and I couldn't do anything, and I just left my bike fall. And there was this person who just just shouted on him and said, ये लड़की इधर क्या कर रही है? He said, she is my wife. आप अपनी वाइफ को बाइक में इधर जनवरी में, इधर दिसंबर में इधर क्यों लेके आए हो आप? So there was this
He
like
must-
they wanted.
Praveen must have said, "I love my wife so much."
Yeah.
That was the slowest leg we had. It was, I would
One
say,
of
it was not very dangerous, but it was challenging for sure. I
it
would not
was-
say it's very difficult either. People can do it.
Correct.
We are not superheroes to do it, and you can do it. But yeah, it's a little challenging. I
Anyone
would say.
can do it. Is only just that you need to be very, very steady. You need
be
to
sure
keep
of the
listening on.
technique. Yeah.
Absolutely. You have
Yeah.
to store of your technique. It doesn't matter if you're riding a 100cc bike or a 1200cc bike. In the end of it, you have to be under 10 kilometers per hour and not using any brakes. So it's just
my
that how you.
next question to Samira is, what was the average number of kilometers that you did if you take the 16,300 and divide that by 24? Now, that will
Yeah.
not be the actual average, but typically, how much would you ride in a day, and when would you
Uh,
stop?
Okay, so if you want to take an average of 16,300 kilometers, that's gonna come up to like approximately 700 kilometers a day. That's a very mota average.
Correct.
But that mota average is divided into multiple stages of our ride. So as I told you, that day one, we actually rode 1,300 kilometers in 22 hours. And there
Okay.
were times when we did Zozila, it was only 250 kilometers, we did it in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So, and it was like our 70% of whole kilometers was on state highways, national highways, and Asian highways. But all those also included a lot of off-roading. So when we did our whole circuit of Northeast, mainly our four states, which was Mizoram,
Manipur, and uh,
so in those four states, we actually did only 300 to 600 kilometers a day. So there were times on highways we were hitting 900 to 1,000 kilometers every day on on riding 14 hours to 16 hours, and on mountains we were riding like from minimum of 250 to maximum of 600 kilometers and spending like same 14 to 16 hours of riding.
So what kind of breaks did you take during your ride? Were they
Uh,
really short breaks on a constant interval, or
yeah.
were they longer break but less
So
number of breaks?
So, my KTM was a 2013 one, 10-liter capacity. So I think approximately 200 kilometers is what my bike would last. So those, I think that was really apt because, those fuel breaks, it would take us about 15-20 minutes to fill fuel on both the bikes on an average. So those were the breaks that early, breaks that we got. Otherwise, we stopped for chais. I mean, I think our food pattern completely changed. I think first 3-4 days, we were not able to eat anything, because the body was not used to, this amount. I think the third day we had reached Amritsar already, and I think by afternoon we were already in Jammu. And on the fourth day we were at what's that place?
Sonmarg,
Before Sonmarg,
Gagangir.
Gagangir. So fourth day we were already in Gagangir, and that was, I think we covered almost 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers in 4 days. First day about 11-1200 kilometers, then 900 and 900, and then about I think 400, 500 odd.
I think the brake pattern was mostly on the basis of how our day and distance was decided on the day. So we had a very simple thing in our mind that we were taking breaks after every 150 kilometers or 180 kilometers on a highway because we were getting our fuel filled.
Right.
So in the fuel station, we were spending like 10 to 15 minutes where we were drinking water, we were taking energizing drinks, we were eating something, and we were riding again. So if you want to ask, there was a time when we stopped with these kind of stops, we stopped after 650 kilometers. So on a highway. So, and we had this thing of eating one meal, heavy meal a day. And when we say heavy meal a day, if we were doing more of a highways, we were consuming heavy breakfast and rest of the day only snacks. And if we were doing it, we were in mountains, we consumed a heavy dinner and breakfast, we were having an energizing drink.
Okay.
So rest of the time, we didn't exceed our breaks, like which was taken from our side. We never exceeded more than 20 minutes. And when we had our breakdowns, that was a time we took a break of 8 hours also. So
Oh.
it was like that.
Yeah, so that leads me to the next question. But before that, there's a trick question. You can avoid to answer it, and it's a more fun one. So
Okay.
lockdown must have given both of you the comfort of being together. And Praveen, did you have any thought of यार lockdown के बाद भी इसके साथ ride करना है? या Samira, you had the same thought for Praveen. How did you guys manage and balance that?
I think the couple of notes we wrote for people to publish, in that very clearly wrote, it's very important to stay calm, not to get onto the nerve the other person, or the other person gets onto your nerve, just ease down. So I think mentally I really prepared before the entire saying that I will not fight with Samira no matter what happens. Hell can break loose, but I will stay calm and composed. I was trying to do that. Yeah, it's very important because you can't. can't pick up fights. It's normal to have fights or not fights. We'll say disagreements or tantrums is bound. As far as humans. But I think we were so goal oriented, so focused. That we let go of that. We had communicators non-stop. We would have a small argument, but we'd continue to write. Throttle was always on.
So did the husband and wife role play more, or was it more about a fellow rider and their inputs that I would want to take as when I'm on a ride?
Okay, so I would like to give the answer first.
Sure.
So in our relationship from the day one, so we met through a ride. We didn't like each other in the initial days, but later we kind of get stuck with each other, and we got a chance to explore India from a traveler perspective for 4.5 years. So before we decided to do a fastest all India, we already covered 80% of a general highways or general route which all the travelers, all the motorcyclists do. So we kind of got this nerve of each other that when we ride, we stop expecting things from each other, and we
Great.
more focus that what our goals are and what we achieve every day. And me as the I still call myself a newcomer, and riding with someone who has a lot of experience, I just surrender myself and say that if you want to tell me to go take that ditch and come out, I'll do that. I'll not gonna put argument on it at all. So we had this and we had our fights at the time of preparation as well. So I told him one thing: I do the talking, you do the work. Okay. So whoever we got help throughout our journey, because we had incidents where we really wanted, and community people, our friends from the day one who were tracking us, helping us, had this belief in us that we will do it with irrespect that we are husband and wife. And we, as he said, we had fights. I was like, "Kaka, kaka, kaka," every time I was doing that, and he was like, relax, just keep riding, just keep riding. And I'm like, okay, let's ride only. And we had this ride while doing 120, 125 on the highway,
Wow.
and that's the time when we would actually stop listening to each other. And we actually grown our relationship a lot through this ride, honestly, Abhishek, because the kind of topics we discussed, the kind of growth we felt in our relationship in 24 days, I would compare it as equal to the 4.5 years of us together riding or being as a husband and wife. So this no joke wasn't there. And the second point was that he was the only one who was directing and navigating the maps. So luckily, this wasn't decided. We both had our mount and we both were using the maps. But in the past experiences, we had a crazy fights on the routes. So luckily, the second day of the ride, my mount fell off, and he was the one who was navigating throughout. So I didn't question if he took a wrong turn. I took a wrong turn without arguing that why did you take a wrong turn. But I was constantly, as a fellow rider and as a companion, I was keeping my conscience alive, and I was keep putting the words in his ears that, are you sure we have to go there? Are you sure we have to take this? Are you sure we have to do this? To make sure that he also feels that there's someone who's riding with him.
Yeah, I think it's the mental status that you are in when you're riding, which kind of tells you how you want to direct each other as fellow riders, whether it's husband,
Yeah,
wife,
because
boyfriend, girlfriend,
we
anyone.
were very much conscious about the kind of decision we took, because that was very important for both of us. For each so it was a couple ride, but we both were riding 2 motorcycles. We both were open for any sort of incidents on the ride on the individual basis. But the kind of sync we maintained, the reason was because we were very clear with our agenda. Every night before we sleep, we used to talk about the route we are taking. And
Samira, there is some network. Yeah, networks. Now you're back.
yeah, so I was just saying that we were very clear in the mind that, though we are doing it together, but still we are 2 individual riders who are riding 2 individual bikes and carrying a 2 individual personality. But
Yeah.
in the end of it, we were very clear that our goal.
I think again, Samira, your network is fluctuating. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. So yeah, in the end of it, we wanted to finish it and we did it.
Great, great. So you in your current conversation, you mentioned a few times about you had breakdowns, falls. I'm sure all of that would have been the experience. Uh, would you like to share something around, how did you manage breakdowns? Where were you stuck? How did you, come out of it? Uh, or if you had a fall, hopefully and thankfully you both look fit and healthy. Nothing bad has happened, so which is a good thing. But how did you manage that on the road?
Yeah, I think our prep was pretty good, and I think we've done rides the last 5 years without a single breakdown. And this ride we had three major breakdowns. Couple of I think one thing I overlooked was my front tire. After riding Zozil at -11, the tires became hard. It's like riding on glass. And I took the audacity of trying to get my knees down with those tires, which is foolish. When you're trying to do touring and such endurance ride, don't push yourself so much. There's no point. Enjoy it. Maybe you're pushing to save additional minutes, but no, end of the day it can be bad. So I crashed in Jammu because the tires were totally I would say they were like riding on glass. When I braked in one corner, I didn't get any braking. So and since there was a median that is made out of the aluminium on the road, right? So I tried to hit that and save, but some trucker had left a huge piece of boulder on the side of the road.
Wow.
Then I'm hitting that, cracked my front and back alloy and my T-step. And I was thinking like, shit, man, the ride is over. But I managed to ride with that cracked alloys for about 15 kilometers to the on the outskirts of Jammu, where her friend was waiting. Then we towed it to his garage and got it fixed. I was lucky because you got second-hand parts. I think there was a guy who had a KTM showroom and who dealing with parts. So got I think they teach them from a Duke 200 front and back alloys from some bike. Fixed it in I think 6 to 8 hours, and we rode to Pathankot the same day.
Okay.
Luckily, my injuries were manageable. I didn't get something that was really bad, but yeah, we managed that. And the second incident happened in Hashimara with Samira, where it was middle is in the forest. There was a diversion which sometimes people don't put any boards there. There's nothing reflecting.
Yeah.
And you're riding on a highway that is single lane highway with there was few trucks that had 12 or 14 headlights. I mean, they were so blaringly bright, right, that you can't see anything. You rather ride in a smog or a fog where visibility is 10 feet. Here it hurts your eyes. So she missed one of those diversions because nothing there. I stopped. She was just beside me. I think his mold was about 3 to 4 feet high. She went flying over and she fell down. And nothing much happened to the bike because it fell into a pit that was covered with a lot of vines. Uh, though she hit the road, I think she broke her instrument panel and the handlebar is bent. That was the only thing. I think a rear shock absorber also took an impact, was short at that point of time.
Yeah. The moment I got the hit,
Samira, we have lost you to a bad network again. I think we had a bad network with Samira at their end. Hi, Tulu Diaries, how are you? यार वो दाढ़ी मूछ के पीछे स्माइल छुप जाती है. Kalpana, I'll definitely ask what kind of snacks did they have. Let them, kind of. Let me see if their network is back. Or they must be wanting to end the session because they're at a party in Goa. Oh, no, I can't see them right now, but give me a second. Okay, looks like Samira and Praveen are back. Let them join in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for all the waves that you're posting here. I think it's the network, Kalpana. We're still not able to log in, but let's see. But do let us know if you're enjoying the session with Praveen and Samira, because I'm pretty thrilled to hear this story that they're sharing with us. Uh, Couple on a ride, 24 days together, two different bikes, and managing the entire ride together. Uh, it's hats off, and I think a lot of other riders who are currently riding, and some of them who have completed their rides. I think hats off to all of you guys here. I think that we'll definitely take you guys uh, on board, and if you're willing to share your stories with our followers. I think there's some issue with Samira connection. Hey, welcome back.
Hey, so sorry, so
We,
sorry.
we, we thought you heard a favorite song and you went onto the dance floor. Party
No,
time.
no,
Okay.
no.
So there was a question from Kalpana, Praveen and Samira. She wanted to ask you what kind of snacks were you indulging in during your ride? Samira.
I'm the best person over this. So when it comes to snacks, I think a lot of us are very fascinated whenever we go on a ride to eat food and to go on local places and to really enjoy. And so our ride specifically wasn't for an exploration. And we really want to say this thing that don't compare our ride with exploring ride. It was completely for a record purpose where we were doing and crossing the miles for touching all 28 state capitals and 6 union territories. So our ride wasn't allowing us to stop anywhere and enjoying the local cuisine.
Yep.
So when it comes to snacks, we had a lot of protein bars, which we both hate in our general life. We don't eat protein bars when we are in our normal routine rides at all. And we had a local snacks of every place. So when we were in Bihar, our 3 times meal was samosas. So we had breakfast in like samosas in breakfast, lunch in samosas and dinner in samosas. And
Right.
similarly, we have a lot of energy drink. So we used to we used to drink like specifically. I would like to mention we were not sponsored anything, guys, but I'm telling you that it is called it's a tablets from Fast Enough. So they have different varieties which will really help you on a ride like this because with not eating on time, your stomach upsets really fast and you get into acidity very quickly. So this drink was giving us energy and at the same time was rectifying our acidity problems. So
You should drop that as a comment in the saved video of this interview, so other people
yes,
can actually make
yes,
use of it.
definitely I will do that because that particular two bottles of tablets really saved us for 24 days. And that
Yeah.
become one of a major snack. And when it comes to don't overload yourself with the thought of eating because
Right.
when you really want to cross the miles you need the zeal to do it even with a 2 sip of water being 200 kilometers. So it was all about our mind, and food is more of energy bite. So we had a lot of sugar. We never complained about sugar tea, and we had a lot of nice coffee and tea, and a lot of rasgullas and sweets we had.
Wow,
I would say we
nice.
get tea flowing a lot. It is really cold, and I think most of India, except the bottom south and the coastal regions, it was pretty cold.
Pretty cold.
I would say the cold wave started hitting us in Rajasthan. Then it went all. I think -11 didn't hit us so much as it hit Rajasthan and Bhopal, the two places where it was freezing cold. I mean, it was not in minus degrees, but the
The
weather,
wind
the wind
was.
So
was pretty crazy.
Praveen, how did you manage to pack your saddle now? Because you're doing all India and you have different weather. Uh, what was the kind of luggage that you were carrying on each bike?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing was we packed a lot of uh, basic garments like undergarments, your t-shirts. That's what we had the most. No pants or anything else. And apart from that, I think most of things we had a tool. We had a puncture kit. We had slime in our tires. We carried additional slime for tire changes. Basic parts like brake pads, levers. I think foot levers, cables. Those were our spares. The entire toolkit for the Duke 390. Also, we had a knee pump compressor in case we had a puncture and we had to fill in air or do a puncture ourselves. We had that as well. Only thing we wanted to carry was digital battery. We didn't, but we carried a jumper cable. But the jumper cable didn't work was when the battery went down. So that was the entire kit we had. And apart from that, what else?
Yeah, so we had like
Winter
in
clothing?
24 days. In 24 days, we actually changed only 5 t-shirts, and our another 4 t-shirts we just kept it, got it back and put it on cupboards back. So the most important thing was the socks. So we were changing socks in every second day. So we had like 18 to 20 pairs of socks, and then we had our undergarments which we were changing on time. And apart from that, we slept in the same t-shirt for 4 5 days, and we got up, took shower, and started again. So I would like to recommend that anybody who is planning to do a ride which has a lot of endurance and time equal to distance, please don't think about carrying a lot of clothes. You don't need it. What you need the most is, as Praveen mentioned, that we had a very packed kit for our bikes, and the tools we were carried was only used on our bikes. So we didn't carry a huge kit like everybody carries, right? We only carried the usable tools which जो कि सबसे ज्यादा यूज होने वाले थे, the one which were having to use the most, the Allen keys, the spanners, and there was set of keys which he was carrying handy. So wherever we were finding that anything needs to be tightened, we were tightening it and we were running it. So the luggage on each of our bike was not more than 5 kg. So we
Oh,
kept it.
nice.
We had a approach of minimal uh, thing, nothing else. And as we were doing a lot of states transition, so we got a lot of help from the local mechanics as well. So always believe in the locals when you're doing a ride like that. Never create a perception that people will not help you. We really have, we too are a huge big examples if you want to consider about humanity and people helping with irrespective of language barriers, irrespective from where you are coming in.
Yeah, we
So,
had people
so
canceling their passport appointment and helping us get a battery, at Srinagar. So that's a kind of help. So yeah, coming to gears, will be very specific. One is never buy brand new gears and go on a ride. Ensure your gears are broken in at least, I would say, at least 5,000 kilometers before you're planning a very long ride, because you can have pinches and bites, because she had a brand new pant and she had a lot of force on her knees. So one is that. And when you're traveling across India, have gears that are very flexible. Like I had a completely thorough mesh jacket and a mesh pant. I wore thermals inside. I had another thermal jacket inside. And externally, I wore a rain cover, which is acting like a wind cheater. So I was very flexible. I had things that was kept in a bag and I could easily remove between the bungee and put it back. So that kind of flexibility in gear is very important in India, because when we started the ride, I think by the time we reached Chitradurga, it started pouring. And all the way until we crossed into Goa and we crossed into Maharashtra, the weather was really bad because we had the cyclone in Chennai. And once we hit Rajasthan, it was bloody cold. And luckily I wore my inner liner, which is a thermal one, and then wore a wind sheet over it. And nothing was gloves. You need to carry 2 to 3 pairs of gloves for the weather. For the mountain Himalayas, ensure you have waterproof winter gloves. For south, you can have your normal gloves which are completely windproof
For touring, yeah.
for touring, and then carry a pair of leather gloves that helps you in intermediate weather. So I think I carried 3 pairs of gloves. She carried 2 pairs because one pair really worked well. So yeah, basically that. And riding shoes, invest. It's going to cost you about 20,000 rupees.
But do invest.
Waterproof, windproof. The riding shoes really help a lot.
Yes. And I'll also mention in the comment about the shoes which I was wearing and he was wearing. Forget his shoes, but the shoes which I was wearing was one of the best shoes for touring, endurance, and whatever you want to call under the motorcycling touring.
Yeah, so I think Shilpa also mentions here that yes, like we all know, Shilpa has done a lot of rides herself, and she also comments that everyone should travel light as much as possible, carry the right stuff with you. So that's correct. And a lot of followers here and viewers here are congratulating you on completion of this award ride. And
thank you so much.
Yeah. So the next question is, while you were planning, did you also actually look up local mechanics or KTM showrooms and service centers in your plan? And how much did you end up using them?
Honestly, when you are on road with your motorcycle, you cannot predict situations, and you cannot predict that which part gonna show you the hand in the end of it, because the sort of terrains we were, it might sound that we were only on highways, but we were on a crazy highways. Like you can compare it with Spiti, and even Shilpa can agree on it, because the sort of roads our Northeast offers to the riders are way beyond than Ladakh and Spiti. So when you are on roads where you cannot predict that how your bike will react, so like our bike is not an off-road bike. Our bike is very steady and good with the tar roads, but we took our bike to the extreme end of it. So we were very prepared, and we knew that we had planned that we're gonna get our bike serviced twice, and also get our tires changed according to the kilometers we were running. So we got our tires changed in the start of the ride,
Right.
and after 7,000 of kilometers, both of us got our first pair of change, and then it went till the end of the ride. And we got our bike serviced twice. And when it comes to during the ride, yes.
During the ride, okay.
Yes. Our first service was it was supposed to happen in Chandigarh, but because of Praveen's incident, we got it done in Jammu. And the half of the service bike, we got it done in Chandigarh service station of KTM. And so both of us were already in touch with the people a month before our ride we started. And we informed that this is the approximate date that we are heading, and we really want a help in the priority service, because we told them that we are attempting a record ride and we cannot waste the time. So we got a lot of support from KTM service stations and the local mechanics. So after we got our bike serviced in Chandigarh, we somehow, because our chain sprocket doesn't working properly, we got it changed in, and that was through our a local friend who was running a workshop and rental services. So he took our bike service as a priority, and he worked on it, which he generally doesn't do on others' bike. So and after that, we got our second service done. We supposed to get it done in Kolkata, but again, because of my incident, we got it done in Siliguri again. So, and we got my tires changed in Kolkata. So we were already synced with the people. We had services done. And also in Nagpur, when after my incident, my shock absorber took a lot of stress. So that was an instant requirement of changing the shock absorber. And friends from community and people from KTM really helped us to get the work done in half an hour, and we started our ride again. So I would say that if anybody is trying to attempt something which is so endurance, make sure that you have your checklist on that where and when you are getting your bike service done.
Absolutely. Well,
Right.
you can't choose the part or the place where the bike is going to break down.
Yeah.
Like the classic example is after these two incidents between Orissa and Chhattisgarh, my chassis gave up. It had cracked at 6 places. Couple of places there was a gap of 3 to 4 inches. I'll share the video with you how it looked. But again, we thought the ride is
The
over.
ride was
The
over.
chassis is cut. We called up for help. Chassis says it takes about 3 to 4 weeks minimum to get one. Even to get another chassis which is slightly damaged and mine is not possible. Finally, we ended up ripping the bike apart, welding it there, and then starting the journey again. So I
Wow.
rode my bike about 5,000-6,000 kilometers with a welded chassis. I'll share that video with you. It's crazy. I didn't believe it was possible because in the past when you did rally, there were parts of the bike that you would weld with pipes to ensure it's reinforced. But
Correct.
this was completely damaged. There was no way the bike could have gone anywhere.
No,
But
hats off.
luckily, it worked. Yeah, it fixed, and we did the ride. So
No, hats off,
thing is,
Praveen. That's all. I think because of the experience and the confidence that you had, that you can do it on a broken chassis and just a welded chassis. Because otherwise, it's a
yeah,
big risk that you're taking.
huge risk. Yeah, because after that, I was checking the bike every 100 kilometers. I stopped. I checked the chassis. I think I didn't have confidence until I reached Chennai or Pondicherry from Orissa. I had no confidence. I thought it'll crack, but luckily it didn't. And after that, we coasted through. Finally, we reached Bangalore, and then good. And the best part is, I was reached Bangalore. I reached my brother's house, stayed there for 2 days. Third day, took the bike to my house. It reached home and it stopped working there.
Oops. Okay, I will have to stop you guys here. And if you're willing, because there's a lot of other questions that we would want to ask because we are ending 1 hour of Instagram live session. So I'll just end this video here and we will reconnect, Samira and Praveen.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry to hold you back from your
No
live
problem.
music. All right. See you again soon.
See you again, yeah.